Welcome back to another episode of Life of a Wife podcast. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Lindsay. Let's get started.
I love saying let's get started because it reminds me of Mad Fit. Like before she goes into a workout, she's like, let's get to it. Let's get started.
It gets you really in the mood.
Yeah, it does.
For a very exciting podcast episode.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Father's Day?
Oh. Yeah.
Save the suspense.
Yeah, so we have a very special announcement, but if you follow Lindsay on social media, you probably already saw it, but that's our plan, what we're going to talk about today, and we've been waiting and super excited to talk about that.
Yes.
But first, no, I was just wondering, what did you guys do for Father's Day? Because I don't think I really talked to you about it.
Yeah, so Dylan's dad was out of town, so we didn't do much. We didn't do anything with their family. So yeah, we've just been waiting to see them, to give gifts and stuff like that. And then, yeah, I don't actually think we did much besides go over my sister's house later in the day. Dylan actually fished a tournament that day. That's a lie. So he wasn't home. And then I went over to my sister's house, and they're refinishing their deck. So they tore apart their whole front and back deck. So they're redoing that, and so my dad was helping them with that all day, and then after that, we had some dinner, and it was a good time.
That's nice.
That was all.
It's exciting.
You guys had
They're
a
getting
cookout?
a nice new deck.
Yes. They're very excited.
We went to Middle Road Inn,
Oh, nice.
like a local place, and had brunch. It was really good.
Good.
And then it was Father's Day, so I was trying to think of what my stepdad would want to do, and I'm like, we going to the casino? Because
So who's coming to the casino?
I can't think of anything else that he would really want to do. I feel like
Yeah.
we go to the casino unless we have something planned. He kind of just likes to hang out at home, so he was like casino, and so we went to the casino.
Sounds like.
And we ended up being there. I don't remember. I think I got home at 6 or 7, but it was definitely a long day, but it was fun. It was nice.
Sounds like Mo.
Yeah, he wanted to go there yesterday too, and he was asking Mark and I if we wanted to go to the casino. We're like, no.
It's been a long
But
day.
it's not good for me to go to the casino with my parents because
Enablers.
I've never won. First off, I've never won anything, but my mom won. I think my mom won $800 some.
Wow.
Last time I went with her, so I'm their lucky charm. And Mo won 300. And I did play a little bit last couple times I went with them, and I didn't win anything. So it's not the best thing for me to do. But I'm I'm just maybe one time I'll be lucky. No. I'm not big on going to the casino, but I always go with them, and then I just kind of sit there and I'm bored. And I'm not saying it's not like I necessarily want to spend a bunch of money, but I'm like, oh, let me just try it. No, it's not worth it.
Amanda's not lucky, but she is the lucky charm.
It's not worth it. But I want to just win one time.
Just to feel good.
When I was when I turned 21, went for my 21st birthday, and I've just never won. Even if it's just a tiny amount, So maybe one day I'll be lucky.
So sorry.
But it's when you lose, you're like, I'm not doing this again. This is stupid.
Yeah,
Mark
I'm
and
not
I
gonna
both
waste
agree
my
that
money.
it's stupid.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
But
That one who's not a gambling addict and the other
no,
person.
his grandma's always down there winning. We need to know what her secret is.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. So anyways.
Well, great. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, Father's Day was nice.
Dylan got to celebrate Father's Day this year. He was at a tournament, but I'm pregnant.
I'm pregnant. Dylan's gonna be a father.
Nobody else is gonna be a parent, just Dylan. Yeah, I found out I was pregnant a little bit before we filmed our first episode. Our first episode was actually whenever I told Amanda
That's so crazy to
I
think
was
about.
pregnant. But we found out on St. Patrick's Day, so that was exciting and nerve-wracking, and we thought we'd just tell my story of how we got here and what that's been like.
Yeah,
so.
that had to have been crazy, like, not saying anything to anyone for a while.
It is very hard. It's very hard, but I decided that if I did get pregnant this time around, then I would try to keep it to ourselves as long as possible, just to kind of have that, like, private period where it's just the two of you that know, and, like, it's secret and special, and, you know. And there was also, like, a lot of anxiety around it, so it made it a little bit easier not to tell people, because we were a little bit scared too as well, so I think that had a lot to do with it too, but it is very hard. It was very hard seeing you, actually.
Well, I had a feeling, but, like, I wasn't just gonna up and ask you. Oh, it also, like, I knew that she was trying.
Yeah, it wasn't, like, a secret.
But, like, you know, it was a couple months that went by, and I, you know, when someone's actively trying, you don't just want to be like, are you pregnant?
Yeah,
like, what
asking all the time.
What if you just took a pregnancy test and you weren't pregnant and you were disappointed? I don't want to be like, are you pregnant?
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, I know, like, there were times where you did take a pregnancy test and you weren't pregnant and you would talk to me about it.
Yeah,
so I didn't want to be like,
what is it this time?
I don't know. She claims that she would eat fruit normally, but I don't believe it. So we, I even now I try to think back. I'm like, when we were together this time, was she pregnant? But
yeah.
I honestly would have to think back. But yeah, we were out with my family, and she ordered, like, a steak wrap, and she got a fruit cup with it, and, you know, and water. And I'm not saying, I don't know, I swear every once in a while you would order.
Health freak.
I swear every once in a while you would order, like, a Coke or something.
Yes.
So, you know, I mean, I drink water, whatever.
Whenever we went out that day, that was, like, the beginnings of me being really sick.
Yeah, also, you sniffed my beer instead of tasting it,
like,
which I know,
having a taste, yeah.
which I know you don't drink, but every once in a while you'll still taste it.
Yes.
So that was, it was that, and then you ordered a fruit cup, which, you know.
That's Amanda, how she knows
the fruit. It was the fruit. I think it's also, I don't know, my aunt used to eat fruit all the time when she was pregnant, so I guess it's just, like, a thing that I think about. But yeah. I know, like, from when you were pregnant previously, like, you watched what you ate and stuff, and you actually wanted to eat healthier foods and fill your body, which I really hope that happens to me.
It did not happen to me this time around, just for the record.
Yeah, that would be nice. Well, my aunt, Winnie, like, craved fruit and ate fruit her whole pregnancy and actually lost weight, which is so weird.
Wow, that's really great for her. I mean, I don't know if it's really great.
Yeah.
If you're supposed to gain weight, I don't know.
Right. But
I feel like a lot of pregnant women crave fruit because it's hydrating.
Yeah,
and
that's
you're,
what
like,
you were saying.
always dehydrated, especially if you're sick too. Because I, like, love watermelon and pineapple and grapes. I ate a lot of grapes in the beginning. But, yeah, and then I started getting really sick, so I stopped.
But that's so crazy that we went to, I don't know where we went, somewhere that is at least 45 minutes to an hour away from, like, where we live, and we were all in my mom's car. Where did we go? We went to a bunch of estate sales.
Yeah, we did.
And then we went to whatever.
Yeah, we went to a few estate sales.
Yeah, and then we went to this one area, but, like, and you were feeling sick. Like, I just think, like, what if you would have
I felt fine until we went to go eat.
Yeah.
Like, I felt fine all day, probably because I wasn't eating, but I felt fine all day, and then we went to go eat. And I took one bite of that steak wrap, and I was like, I'm literally going to throw this up all over the table. So I stopped eating it. Not suspicious at all that I just didn't eat anything, because I am one to eat everything.
Well, there was that occasion, and then we got pancakes, and you got another fruit cup. And, you know, I know people can eat fruit, but, like, I like, Lindsay, like,
I eat a lot.
Sometimes she goes
Amanda,
to town.
especially.
Yeah, she goes to town sometimes. We get, like, the French fries and the whole 9 yards, and So
Definitely.
I kind of just knew a little bit, but I was gonna say something else, but I don't remember. Oh, when we did our photo shoot for the podcast, afterwards we went and had Mexican food, and you said that you threw up all the Mexican food.
I
I
did.
actually do you remember when we were leaving the restaurant and you were like, like I think one of you asked me if I was okay because I was like silent. I ate so much in the Mexican restaurant, my stomach was hurting after. And I
Yeah.
had to like talk myself out of not feeling sick and on the car right back to my house.
Yeah,
So
that was the other time that was like one of the first times I think that we hung out after
yeah.
I found out. So I was still early on in my pregnancy and I didn't feel as sick then. But yeah, it got really bad like later on. So like those times I felt like I actually like could go out and do stuff, but like
Mhm.
later on I probably wouldn't have even came. so,
Yeah.
so
Honestly, we've just been seeing each other when we've been recording,
yeah.
which has been nice. But poor Lindsay has been like extremely unwell.
Yeah.
When did it start?
Let me think. I want to say around like 7 to 9 weeks, I started feeling
Okay.
really sick. But then it like progressively got a lot worse. And then it got a little bit better. And then it got worse again, like right before I hit 15 weeks. I was still sick around 15 weeks, but um, it got a little bit better then. I think also I was taking Zofran then, so that helped tremendously. So, but yeah, I mean, I was like not really eating at all. I lost a bunch of weight and I just could not keep anything down. I ate like popcorn was one of my safe foods. I would eat that every single night before I went to bed because I would always throw up like whatever I had eaten.
You wouldn't know by the way we were eating all the gummies and stuff,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, I
On
made sure
one
that
of
I
our
was
last videos.
was feeling okay those
Yeah.
times, but yeah, it definitely was not easy. I mean, I feel like I'm finally feeling better, which is like such a great thing to say because like I felt a little bit nauseous this morning, but I also didn't take like medicine last night, so I think that's why I was feeling nauseous, but yeah, I definitely feel like I can like live my life again, which is a really great feeling.
Yeah, thank goodness.
So,
That's
yeah.
horrible.
I like texted Amanda one day and I was like, I'm literally abandoning our friendship. I'm so sorry. And
Yeah,
she was
she's
like,
like,
it's fine.
I'm so sorry. I'm not texting you back. I'm not doing this. I'm not
As I'm laying in bed,
involved.
like dead.
And I'm like, I cannot, like, I hate throwing up so much. Like, I always say, I don't have, how do you say that? Emetophobia? I
Yeah.
don't have that, but I feel like I, like, borderline do. Like, every time any stomach bug comes out, I'm like, oh my God, no. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm, like, so freaked out. So, like, I cannot imagine, like, obviously, I'm sure when you're going through that, like, you, I said to the too, I was like, you get used to therapy, you're like, you never get used to it. But I can't imagine going through that for so long and, like, just having to live, like, your everyday life of, like, going to work and
Yeah.
whatever. Like, I cannot imagine.
Yeah. And I,
And so many people go through this, too, and it's just so it's so crazy
yeah.
to me.
It got a lot easier, like, around, like, a little bit later on, like, around, like, 13 or 14 weeks, it started turning into just morning sickness. So, like,
Okay.
specifically in the morning, I would get sick every single morning. And then, like, after I got sick, I would just have to not eat for a couple hours. And then I would feel okay the rest of the day to, like, eat or do whatever. But, yeah, I remember this one really bad day, in particularly that.
I was just thinking, I was like, we should put a trigger warning on it.
I've been trying to say get sick instead of
No, it's okay.
the other
We'll
one.
we'll
The
put
other
a trigger
way.
warning on it.
Um, I got up in the morning, I got sick, I ate my lunch, I got sick in the bathroom at work, and then we went out to eat at Eaton Park because I was so hungry, obviously from not eating all day, and getting sick all day, and then I got sick in the bathroom at Eaton Park, and
Yeah.
I ended up
awful.
eating popcorn that day, and that was it, so.
Popcorn.
I kept pretending like I was fine and like I could eat things, which was probably not the best decision, but like I just wanted to eat so bad. I would like cry to Dylan and be like, I just want to enjoy food again because like, if you know me, I love to eat. So,
Yeah.
but now my stomach like has shrunk to this big. and so I can eat about less than half of what I used to be able to eat.
Mm.
So that stinks too, but at least I can enjoy food. So that's all that really matters.
Yeah, does popcorn really have fiber?
They say it does.
'Cause I've been seeing that and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm sure it's like healthier popcorn than like the popcorn I eat.
Yeah.
But yeah, they say it does have fiber in it, but I don't know. I just ate it because it was something that I could keep down.
That's crazy.
So, and outshine popsicles. I would eat those after I got sick every time. So, yeah. Not fun.
Yeah,
it's
and
fun now.
we would be like, we would start recording and we'd be like, you know, we want to just make it casual, so we wanted to be like, so Lindsay, like, how are you? And she's like, I'm horrible. And we're like, okay, we have to edit this out. This is not, we have to pretend like,
You have to pretend like everything's fine.
Not like everything's fine, but we were like, you know, she was waiting to announce it, and, you know, we didn't want to be like, she's so unwell.
Yeah.
But really, she was really unwell.
But really, I was unwell.
But now she's better.
Now I'm better.
It's exciting, and now she can, like, enjoy her pregnancy more.
Yes. I am 17 weeks.
And she's getting a little bump.
I have a little bump. You can see me on Instagram sporting the bump. I feel like this past week I have been doing really well and just been able to like live my life again, which is a really good feeling. I just feel like I abandoned like all relationships, all like everything. I was not present. So I feel like I'm finally like getting back into the swing of my life, which is great. And we finally told everyone, so I don't have to keep any secrets anymore, which is also really nice. So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think it was a long journey to this point.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of ups and downs throughout us trying to get pregnant, and I had a couple miscarriages as well through our process. So Amanda asked if I would be okay like telling our story and what happened and all that kind of stuff. So I guess I'll do that. I'm gonna situate myself first. Okay, much better. I always tell Dylan whenever we got married and stuff that I wanted to have kids right away. Amanda and I obviously like went through.
Why am I already crying? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I just feel like we're like, obviously this is serious, but I feel like we're like, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean
obviously.
Amanda's been there through it all, so.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Don't mind me over here.
I'll just be bawling my eyes out.
I'll just be over here in the corner.
Oh.
Shit, we didn't bring any tissues.
No,
it's okay.
Probably should have.
We're stupid. All right.
So what was I saying? Oh, I told Dylan in the beginning of our relationship that I always wanted to have kids. It's just something I've always been really passionate about, like more than a career or anything else in my life. I just wanted to be a mom, and I wanted to just be able to share life with another human, and you know, I love Dylan a lot, obviously, so I really wanted to have kids with him, but whenever we got married, he was not ready to be a dad. So he asked me if we could wait 5 years to start trying, and we agreed on that. So we decided to wait 5 years. And then whenever that time came, we tried for 1 month and got pregnant the month after. So that was really quick. That was January of 2022. We found out we were pregnant, and it was just like a really blissful time. Like, I think I will always think back on that time, and I just feel like I had never been happier in my whole entire life, which I think is what made the loss so hard, is that, like, everything in my whole entire being felt like it changed. Like, I started eating healthier. I started, like, just taking care of my mental health. Like, I just felt like I was ready to have a child. Like, I was ready. So around 12 weeks, right before I hit 12 weeks, which would have been a Sunday, a couple days before that, I started spotting, which I have heard many times that that can be normal, that, that happens to some people whenever they get pregnant. Some people have their full on period whenever they're pregnant and they're still fine. Like, that's how people don't know that they're pregnant. So I wasn't too, like, concerned about it. But that Sunday we went over my parents' house to celebrate my dad's birthday, and I had actually told them, like, I had been spotting. It was, I just wanted to let them know what was going on. And we had known people that had miscarriages before, but, like, we weren't, I don't know. Obviously, you don't expect that it would happen to you, but we had known people that had really struggled to get pregnant. We had known people that had miscarriages. Like, that was in our sphere of knowing that could happen. But obviously, we didn't want it to think that that would happen to us. So, and we actually started telling everyone very early, around 7 weeks. We started telling everybody that we were pregnant, and so yeah, so around 12 weeks, we were at my parents' house. We had just finished dinner. We were about to eat dessert, and before I went to the bathroom, I felt like a rush down there. And immediately, I felt like something was wrong. Obviously, like, you don't feel like that for nothing. And so I went to the bathroom, and I was just bleeding a lot. So that ended up, like, slowing down. So I before that, obviously, I called Dylan. I called my mom into the bathroom first, actually, because she had multiple miscarriages in between, like, my siblings, before my sister, stuff like that. So we were talking in there. She got Dylan. Obviously, he needed to be in there, but she ended up saying, yeah, it's just, that's what happened. And I called my midwife and talked to her, and yeah, the bleeding stopped, and that was pretty much it. And so after that, obviously, we went right home because we were not in the space to be around people. So we went home. We both took off work the next day. We went to the doctor office just so they could look at us and see if we were okay, if I was okay. And they were like, yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, you have, like, 3, basically, like, sacs still inside of you. And so we were like, okay, that's weird. Like, there was no, like, inclination of there being, like, anything still in there from the baby. Also, we had went to the midwife center, so we had not had an ultrasound. We didn't get to see the baby or anything like that. So after that appointment, we ended up going home and just, like, relaxing. I think we were home for about an hour, maybe, and I started to bleed again. And that bleeding did not stop for 7 hours. So obviously, we did not stay at home because if they told us, if you start bleeding again, you need to go right back to the hospital. So right away, Dylan was like, we're leaving. We had, like, literally just put a lasagna in the oven. It was not a great time. And for multiple reasons. But yeah, it was just like, I was like, I'm so hungry, I want to eat, like, I don't want to go to the hospital, but, like, it was very bad. It was a lot. So we ended up going to the hospital, and, like, we had to, like, wait in the waiting room, which was, like, horrible. You're, like, around people who are, like, sick, but not, like, yeah, I'm, like, literally, they ended up telling me I was delivering my placenta. So, like, I was 1 centimeter along. I was, like, in a very traumatic situation around all these people who are like, what is wrong with this girl? Like, what is happening? And so, like, someone was like, why won't they take us back? Like, it felt like forever. It was probably, like, maybe 20 minutes, but, like, it felt like a very long time. So they ended up taking me back, and, like, we were there until 12 o'clock, they would like come in. They ended up delivering my placenta, or what was left of it. Um, and then I had to go back for a D&C, which was just getting rid of anything else that ended up being in there from the pregnancy. So yeah, we
Was
got
that same night you did that?
yes, yeah, because they couldn't stop the bleeding, and that was why was
Mhm.
because like just like my body was trying to get rid of everything, so they ended up like doing it for my body basically.
Mhm.
So yeah, after that I didn't. There was no more bleeding in that. So yeah, it was a extremely traumatic experience for both Dylan and I. It was very sad. I feel like we went from like the highest of high in our whole entire life to like the lowest we both have ever felt ever in our lives. Like it was I just remember feeling so stuck in my grief that like I couldn't see how it would ever like get past or like get through. And it just hurt. It hurt so bad to lose something that you like had plans for the future for. You know, like we were already like planning all these things. Like I was expecting like when we were going to have the baby, like celebrating Thanksgiving and the holidays and like Christmas and all that stuff like with the baby, and like it just felt like all of that was just like ripped away from us, and it was just the most terrible feeling we have ever gone through in our lives. Um so yeah, I ended up getting help with all the feelings that I was feeling from that. It was a couple months before I actually got help, but I ended up going to therapy for that, and she was a lifesaver. She ended up like I mean, in like 5 weeks, I felt like I was able to like go and live my life again, which like it was just these emotions that I felt like I had to like get through, you know, and just like admitting what I was feeling. And like it was hard to talk to Dylan because like obviously he understood exactly what I went through, but like it was my body went through all
Mhm.
the trauma, and like he also it felt like to me he didn't want to talk about it, which obviously I know now was not the case. It was just really hard to talk about. um but just like all those things that we went through as a couple during that, um which ultimately made us a lot stronger, but there was also a lot to heal from in our relationship as well through that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we ended up
And obviously it's horrible that those that thing has happened, but like it made you guys so much stronger, and I wonder if you guys would have like ever had like those hard conversations
mhm.
or
Yes, yes.
had those hard discussions like if you didn't go through that.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I think that it's hard to say and admit, but there was a lot of good things that came out of that miscarriage and that traumatic event that happened to us. So, as hard as like the whole situation was and losing the baby and like all that kind of stuff, losing like the future that we had with that baby, um, there was a lot of things like in our relationship, mine and Dylan's relationship, in my friendships, in like um, even like our doctor, like the doctor that we have now was the doctor that did my surgery, and that's how we met her. Like she was like an angel to me in the hospital. Like I don't think that I felt like I would have been able to get through without her. And so like it was like all this stuff that like was really good, like that happened because of this really horrible thing that happened, which I feel like is for a lot of things in life, you know, like it's hard to go through these things, but if you look back at them, you're like, oh, I see like all this good that came from that, you know, like
Mhm.
it was, I don't, like this is going to sound stupid to a lot of people, but it was embarrassing to miscarry at my parents' house in front of my whole family. Like I hated that. Like I held on to that so hard. It was something that I talked about a lot in therapy because I was so embarrassed that that had happened, that they all had to like experience that with me and like experience my uttermost vulnerable grief that I could ever go through my whole entire life. Like usually like your partner sees you in those situations,
Mhm.
but like for my brother and my sister-in-law and my other sister and my sister and my other brother-in-law and my mom and my dad to all be there, like
Yeah.
I was embarrassed, like really embarrassed. And then like I couldn't like go back into that bathroom and like all that stuff. So all this stuff, like, I did in like grief counseling, like, went through, and now I look back on it and I'm like, I needed them there. Like, whenever I walked out of that bathroom, I will always see every single one of them standing there and being there for me in the time that I was at my absolute lowest I had ever been in my whole entire life. And like, it was like, I look back on that now and I see like why that needed to happen or why we
Mhm.
needed to be there, you know. And I got to hug everybody, and then like we obviously left right after that, but like I know that I needed my mom there like whenever
Yeah.
that was happening. And so obviously in the moment and like afterwards it was really hard to process, but like you see so much that like was worth it, you know.
Mhm.
And like Dylan and I's relationship like really had grown through that. I guess I'll just continue with our story. um so a couple months after that we decided to start trying again. So this was like spring of 2022. So we started trying again, and we did for many months, like probably like 4 or 5 months, and it still was not happening again. Which I realize now, my brain and my body were like, okay, girl, you need to chill. Like, you just went through a really traumatic event, and you're already trying for another one. Like,
Mhm.
which I know can happen. Like, I'm not saying that it can't, but I was just not in the right mental state or any state to be trying to have another baby. So August we stopped. We didn't try for the month of August. September we tried again, and I got pregnant. And I knew I was pregnant. I was over my cousin's house actually, who lives like 4 hours away, but I didn't want to take a test without Dylan because after the miscarriage, he had asked me, don't take another test without me, because the first time I took it without him and I like surprised him and it was fun, but he was like, I want to be there. I want to experience it. So I ended up not taking a test whenever I was there at her house for the weekend. I knew it in my bones that I was pregnant. So I went back on Sunday. I took a pregnancy test with Dylan. It was positive. And then, like, I think it was that night I got my period. So they call that a chemical pregnancy, where you're so early in your pregnancy that your body just, like, kind of, this sounds really morbid, but like flushes that out with your period. Like, either like it's not viable or just like your body doesn't recognize it or something. But yeah, so it definitely was not as traumatic the second. Oh.
Oh my god, sorry. I just hit my watch against the. So your body like flushes it out with your period? That's.
Well, yeah, because it's just like the
Wow.
lining is just coming down, so the pregnancy, whatever is there.
Mm.
And it's so early that it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, technically I was 4 weeks, but your pregnancy is starting whenever, like, whenever you start your period.
Mhm.
It's not like whenever you actually get pregnant, which is kind of confusing. But
Yeah. Okay.
so technically I was like 4.5 weeks whenever that miscarriage happened. Um, so I was like so early on that like I maybe wouldn't have even known if I didn't take a test, you know.
Wow. Yeah.
But I like, you know, you feel it in your body that you're pregnant. So I was very grateful that it was not as traumatic, and I felt like we went through all the grief like the
Mhm.
first time in the really traumatic scenario, that I was almost like, okay, like I know what's happening. This is, you know, this is just what is happening. And the next month we even tried again because I was like, you know, it was what it was, you know. I don't really know what else to do with that. So we tried October, November, December, January, and then January 2023, Dylan said to me that I don't think that we should try anymore right now. And I definitely needed him to say that because, like, just like trying to get pregnant, if you've ever been through that and through, I hate, I have a hard time using the word infertility because I know people go through it for many, many years, and it was just like months of us like not getting pregnant and then getting pregnant and then having miscarriage and then months of not getting pregnant and then getting pregnant and having miscarriage and then trying again. So I don't love using the word infertility, but that, I mean, I guess that's
Yeah.
what it is defined as. But if you've ever been through that, it's very taxing. And like even trying to get pregnant, like the timing of it all and like having to go through that, like it is really like emotionally draining.
Mhm.
And it was like my whole world. Like I could
Yeah.
not even think of anything else.
Yeah, and it obviously puts a toll on your relationship.
Yes, 100%. Like
Heavy.
it
Yeah.
wasn't even like fun to have sex anymore. Like we were
No.
like, okay, I guess
Yeah.
we got to do this,
It's like a
and that's
business
like
deal.
not, yeah, that's just not how it should be. So we decided for the sake of our relationship that we were going to stop trying the whole year of 2023 and not try at all. And that was probably the best decision we could have ever made in our whole entire lives because our relationship flourished after that. Like we healed ourselves, we healed each other, and just were able to like have conversations that we were not able to have in a very long time. And just yeah, our relationship really, we really did a lot to make it better that year that we weren't trying. Um, yeah, I just think back on that time with a lot of gratitude just because like it was really hard to make the decision to stop trying because it felt like we were giving up almost, but like
Mhm.
obviously we were going to try again, but like it was like, oh, well, what if this was supposed to be the time that we were going to get pregnant, but like I had to let go of that and like focus on myself because like
Yeah.
I was draining myself. Like I said, it was all I could think about.
Yeah, and you also got a new. When did you switch jobs?
That was
So you also switched jobs at one point too.
August. Oh yeah, that's true. So like late July, early August. So 2023. Yeah. So late July. So also that was another thing is that I decided if I was going to get a new job that I needed to like be there for a year before I got pregnant again because
Mhm.
that's like, the law. In order to get maternity leave. Which obviously if it happened we were like, okay, whatever. But we were not actively trying at all. So yeah, I ended up getting a new job in July, late July, early August. Um, and then in December, we decided. I was kind of getting restless at that point because I was like, okay, like we did the work, like let's try again. So, I probably mentioned it to him in like November, but in December we started trying again. December, January, February. In February, I took a negative pregnancy test and it was very hard. I don't know what made it so hard, particularly because we had only been trying for a few months and I didn't feel like I should have been as disappointed as I was, but I really was super disappointed that time. I don't know. I really don't know why. But I just remember like saying to Dylan like how hard it was and like I cried so much. I cried so much whenever I got that negative test. And like right whenever I took it, we were going on a trip with our friends like to Florida for like 5 days. So, I like cried to my one friend about it as well, like the friend that we were going on the trip with, and she was like, "You guys just need to relax and go on this vacation and then try again next month." And like obviously everyone says that to you. You're like, "Oh my god." Another person that's telling me to relax whenever I can't even think about anything else besides getting pregnant. And she had never been so right. I had never met anyone more right in my life. Because I just felt my body, like, especially because I've been in like the cold area of Pittsburgh and like, just
Yeah.
like going to Florida during that time, like, you just felt like a wave of relief go over you as soon as you got off the plane. You were like, oh my god, it's warm here,
Yeah.
like, so, like, we had such a fun time. It was just felt like a moment that we didn't have to worry about like getting pregnant or anything like
Yeah.
that. Like we didn't even talk about it on the trip. We just had a good time. We enjoyed each other's company. Like it was just us, and our friends obviously.
Yeah.
But
Those
like
kinds of trips are so nice. You
yeah.
can just focus on nothing but like what you're gonna eat that day or
Yeah.
something. Or where
Exactly.
you're gonna go that day or like yes.
Exactly. Yes. And like we got to have fun time with our friends and like it was just great. So we like got back and yeah, it was like mid-March. Um, I didn't feel like I was pregnant at all. Like I had no inkling that I was I mean, obviously I was hoping I was pregnant and like making stuff up in my head, but like for me, the only pregnancy symptom that comes full force right on like as soon as I get pregnant is I cannot breathe. Like I am out of
That's
breath
so
no
yeah,
matter
that's so
what I do.
weird.
Like it is terrible. I'm walking up the steps, I'm like and I still sound like that to this day.
Mm.
Like I am never not out of breath. Um So, and I was like, okay, maybe like I'm just out of breath a lot. I don't know. I don't want to like jinx anything. So, I I told Dylan on St. Patrick's Day I was going to take a test because also there are a lot of days that Dylan is not around in the morning and it's hard to take a pregnancy test whenever you're getting ready for work. Because like how are you supposed to like enjoy that time
Yeah.
if you're about to go to work? So I was like, okay, I'll wait until Sunday to take the test, which was even like early for me to take a test in general. Like it was probably three three days before my like I would have missed my period. So um so yeah, I took a test and we looked at it right away. I was like, idiots. You're supposed to wait 3 minutes to look at a pregnancy test, and Dylan and I waited exactly 1 second to look at it. And I remember being so angry. Like I wanted to punch a wall. Like I don't know, it just kept like getting to me that I was not getting pregnant and I was just so mad about it because I'm like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. Like there's nothing more that I could possibly do besides like go on a medication to help me get pregnant. And so we were talking in the bathroom, like I was really upset. We were actually probably not talking because I was so mad. But we were just sitting there in the bathroom and I stood up and I looked at the test and I said to Dylan, like, am I crazy for seeing something there? And he was like, I don't know. So he looked at it and he was like, I don't know, I kind of see something, but like I don't know. I don't know what it is, you
Oh
know?
my
Like I
god.
don't know what that is. And I was like, okay, but like I knew it was lying. So he was like, I don't know, we're not gonna know until tomorrow. Like whenever we take a test tomorrow and it's like a little bit darker or whatever. So we went out with our friend Chelsea that day with her boyfriends and like celebrated St. Patrick's Day and like just went out and had a good time. And it was really hard because I was like, I think I'm pregnant. but uh, but yeah, so I mean, we had a good time that day, and then every day after that, I took a pregnancy test, and it kept getting darker. And I mean, I was really excited, but there's also always like I was talking to Amanda about earlier today, like I feel like the ignorance of being pregnant for the first time just like is not there anymore.
Yeah.
Like that time where you aren't necessarily worried about losing the baby or you're not like so concerned and like riddled with anxiety about like what's going to happen um because I had a miscarriage really early on and then I had a miscarriage a little bit later. So
Mhm.
it's very hard. It was very hard to like feel like, oh, I'm so happy that I'm pregnant, you know, and that just, it really stinks that that wasn't our experience. But like thinking back on it now, it was like so early on and I felt so different. I felt so different than I had ever felt in any other pregnancy. Even like within probably 2 to 3 weeks, like I felt my body changing and I had never felt like that before. Like even whenever I was pregnant for 12 weeks, like I did not feel my body change. Like I felt like my boobs were growing and just like my body was just preparing, you know, like
Mhm.
for something to happen. And so like I felt like that was different. And then I started getting sick, which was also something that I didn't experience before, which I don't know if it's because of it being a boy or if it was because of like my body knew that something was
Yeah,
wrong. So
the first one was a boy.
yes, yeah, they ended up doing genetic testing on my placenta, and they were able to find out that it was a boy. Um, so yeah, I didn't know what it was necessarily, but it just felt a lot different this time around. So I got on medication to like help the baby just like grow and stick is what I always said, because I I feel like it was helping your body not like reject the pregnancy. So I took that for 12 weeks, and then yeah, so like right around 12 weeks, obviously I was having a lot of anxiety, but I don't know, like I said, like things just felt so different. And not that like that made the anxiety any less or any easier, but like I did just feel like this hope and like this like peace that I hadn't felt in a really, really long time. And so it was just like such a good feeling to finally like feel okay after like the 13-week mark, and then like the 14-week mark. Yeah. Then we were like, okay, wait, we're actually having a baby.
I know. It was like, oh, wait, this is real?
Yeah. That's how I still feel to this day. Like, wait a second.
No, it's getting super real. Like, Lindsay sends me like a new picture of her bump every day, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that makes it also feel even more real, that like I'm looking pregnant now. Mm-hmm. And so now it's like, oh, okay. Oh, I don't just feel pregnant. Now I look pregnant, and like, yeah, it's just, I'm feeling a lot more excited than I am anything else now, which also feels great, because like I don't have all that anxiety like building up in my body. And like the sad thing is like being part of the pregnancy loss community after I miscarried, you know that it can happen at any time, which is really the sad part. Like, it could happen at 6 weeks, it could happen at 12 weeks, it could happen at 24 weeks, it can happen at 30 weeks, you know, like it can happen at any time in your pregnancy. So you're either going to be fearful of it the whole entire time, or you're going to just enjoy the pregnancy while it's here.
Right.
And I think like after we passed that 12-week mark, Dylan and I both were like, okay, we need to like start enjoying this pregnancy, because like if we keep on like, I feel like we both were kind of like, huh, I don't know if this is actually happening. Like we kind of like weren't ignoring it, but like I don't know, it just made it easier to kind of like put it on the back burner a little bit, and like not have it be like the most prevalent thing in our minds. But I even said to Dylan the other day, I was like, we kind of have to start talking about like the plans that we're gonna, like what we're gonna do with the nursery, like that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's like I'm almost halfway, and like we need to start talking about that.
That's insane.
So I know.
Yeah,
like in 3 weeks.
It's already about to be July, and time is just flying by.
I know. I bet like by the time November comes, we'll be like,
oh. Yesterday when I was at my sister-in-law's house, Julia, my friend was like, so how's it feel to be an aunt? How's it feel you're about to be an aunt? I was like, I know.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. I know. I'm so excited. And like, as much as I'm excited for myself, like, I feel like I also feel so excited for like everyone who went through this journey with us. Like my parents, like you, and like Chelsea, and like everybody else who like has been there for me, like through this whole entire thing. Like, I'm so excited to like see them with my baby. Like,
yeah, I know. We're gonna lose it. It's just like
gonna be such an exciting time that like,
yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. So, yeah, as much as I'm excited for Dylan and I, like I'm just excited for our families, and like
it's so sweet.
Yeah. So yeah. That's
in a nutshell.
So yeah, that's my life. But yeah, thanks for listening to my story, and I hope that it helps anyone who needs it. And
yes, absolutely. And I'm sure it's really not easy for people to talk about this sort of stuff, but
yeah,
I'm glad that you could share it, and you feel comfortable sharing it.
Yeah, for me, I think it's always been, as soon as I went through my miscarriage, and even before that, people had talked to me about it, obviously, but whenever I went through my miscarriage, people started to open up to me about like their own experience. Right. And to me, I always wanted to be that person that if someone ever went through that, or were struggling with infertility or anything like that, I wanted to be someone that they could relate to, someone that they could go to, because I know what those people meant for me who had actually gone through it. You know, like, obviously
Right.
people are there for you. I don't want to diminish,
Right.
like, what you did for me whenever I was going through my miscarriage. But also at the same time, I, those people that could relate directly to me and be like, yes, I went through the same exact thing that you did, you know, and just be like, yes, I understand exactly what you're going through, you know, like,
Right.
that meant so much to me. And I would love to be that for anybody who would ever need it. And so for me, it's always been very easy to talk about this, like, as I've healed, but like, I never want to like shy away from sharing our experience, because if it could help somebody else who's struggling with that, then that would, that means the world, you know.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
so thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's so important to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I mean, it's like that with anything, like any traumatic
Yeah.
event that you go through. Like, I feel like
Mhm.
it's really important to share, just because you never know who else is going through that, or who needs to hear the advice that you have to say, or even if they don't want to ask you directly, just to be talking about it openly, you know,
Mhm.
in open situations. Like, I've always tried to tell my story, not like just to strangers, but like whenever I could. If someone wants to listen, I'll tell it, you know. So, so
Yeah, and not everyone's like that either. Some people are more closed off, but
yeah.
maybe somebody needs to hear it,
Yeah.
you know.
And like I said, whenever I posted about, or made a story about my miscarriage, I said that some people don't want to talk about it, but like, that's every family's decision on whether
Mhm.
they want to share that or not. Whether privately or publicly. Um, so like, obviously there's no like shame in not sharing about your miscarriage, but um, I had just always from the beginning felt called to share, and to share my experience, just in case there was someone else who um, needed someone that went through the same thing.
I'm
On
just
a lighter
smiling.
note,
I'm just smiling. I'm like,
we're both really excited.
we are.
We're kid people.
We are. I work with I work with toddlers, and I don't know. Oh, I was talking to Mark about this yesterday just because I'm trying to think of, I guess my second cousin was at my aunt's memorial yesterday, and he's like, "Oh, like I was watching you with like the baby or whatever," and I was like, "It just feels so natural to me. Like I don't think
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not like super close with this child or anything like that. I think it was my first time meeting him, but it just feels so natural to me.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I also work with toddlers like every day, so but yeah, it's just yeah, we're so excited, and obviously we've been talking about this forever.
Yeah.
Um,
Now it's finally
us,
here.
having families and kids and everything,
Yeah.
and
Keep telling Amanda to
yeah,
get pregnant with me.
I know.
She won't do it.
I know. It's
Just
tempting.
kidding.
It's tempting.
Everybody's in their own timeline. I try to respect Amanda's. I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
So yeah. Um.
Maybe in the next year and a half or so. I mean,
Yay.
we said 2 years, so maybe after next year. After next year. I'm in my sister-in-law's wedding, so I'm trying to trying to wait till after then. Well, no, I have to wait till after then. There's no trying to wait till after then. But
We're gonna try.
we said 2 years anyways. I can't even do math of how,
That's fine.
but I think like 6 months after that, like I don't know. I feel like my wedding just came and went, and I'm like, what fucking month it is?
What's
What
life?
I still think it's like 2023. I think,
Yeah.
and I think it's because like we got married. Like 2023 is always
My life stopped after I got married.
it was always my wedding month. It was always my wedding
Yeah,
month,
yeah.
2023. And then I just feel like after we got married, it was like all of a sudden January, February, like it was all of a sudden a new year, and I'm like, what happened?
You're like, what is this year?
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe like after we hit 1 year married, then it'll feel a little bit like
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's still so.
It's so weird that you still haven't been married technically for a year.
No, it is weird.
That's really weird.
It is.
It feels
'Cause
like forever.
I do feel like I've been married for a long time.
I feel like that too.
Not like a long time, but like I think about it all the time. Like, you know, like I'll be like with Mark's family, I'm like, oh, I'm his wife now. You know, like it's a different type of feeling. Like you
Yeah,
feel it
yeah.
before, but you feel different when you're like officially, kind of. You know, I mean, yeah. But then, yeah, and it's like, oh, but it's only been since October. Like that's so weird. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, we've been living together for longer than that, so that's probably why. But
Yeah.
anyways, yeah.
So yeah, I know I've been doing a lot of talking, but now I have
Well, I figured I've been talking a lot about some pop culture stuff, so I wanted to have Lindsay give a homemaker tip because it's been a little while.
It's been a little while. So now this episode's just all about me. Just kidding.
That's good. I mean, I did a whole episode just talking
That's
about
true. That's
by
true.
myself.
By yourself. I was really sick that day. That's why I didn't come. Just for the record.
And I was like,
Just set the record
sick.
straight. She's not feeling great.
Lindsay's unwell.
But yeah, yesterday actually I cleaned a room that I had been avoiding for a really long time. So I wanted to talk about cleaning things that we avoid. So I guess that's my challenge to everyone is to pick a spot in your house, big or small, doesn't matter, that you have been avoiding. Amanda said, what did you say that you were avoiding?
Well, I'm looking at some shit. I'm looking at some stuff
around here.
Yeah, we're in like my back bedroom, my basement, and I'm looking at some stuff. I have like there's steps that go upstairs, and under my steps that's where I keep all my stuff. But I don't know. There's like I just have like, you know, random decorations and little stuff just laying around here that I definitely avoid because I'm just I don't know. It's like I asked Lindsay, I said, because she loves to clean and organize, which is crazy to me. But
there are still spots in my house that I avoid cleaning, though. Just for the record.
But like, I guess this is like a little off the topic, but I'll say this and then we'll go back to that.
Okay.
But like, I was off the past 3 days and like I'm just like not home, even when I'm off, and I'm like, how do you find time to clean? And like, but I feel like when I do clean, I spend like a whole day cleaning or like a good couple hours cleaning. Then other than that, it's like I don't know. But I've been avoiding cleaning my downstairs bathroom. That's what I told her. But yeah.
So I mean, even yesterday there wasn't really a lot going on, and we were gonna go for a walk, but it was so hot outside. We were like, we should probably stay inside and do something productive. So Dylan ended up doing something that he wanted to get done, and our office is like a catch-all room. Like I literally throw anything in there. But it's also like my pathway to go into where I feed the cats and where the cats' litter box is. So I go in that area every single morning. But it like has slowly become like the path that's like this big because all the stuff is just piling on there. So yesterday, whenever Dylan was doing his thing, I was like, I am going to clean this. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to clean some stuff up, like just make this room a little bit more like accessible. So I ended up doing that for about an hour and a half, and I went in this morning and I was like, wow, I'm so happy I did this yesterday. So yeah, it felt really good, and that was like a big project. So like as my challenge, I'm not expecting anyone to like go into a room that is totally unmanageable and expect to do it in a short amount of time, but like just like something little like that you think. I know you thought of something as soon as I said that.
Right, and I think that
you've been avoiding.
I think that I always like think of cleaning and organizing as like a all day task that you have to do all day long, and like I think recently like I'll be like, okay, like just clean the shower or the bathroom before I go somewhere, or put the laundry away before I do this. I mean, don't get me wrong. And like a lot of times like I'll do one thing and then I will actually feel motivated to do the other. So, but do you mostly clean on the weekends, or do you clean after work, or?
So I have a work from home day on Thursdays.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes I try to like do something little after work, but it's really hard to find that motivation. So like I never like put that on myself to have to do it unless it's like something like I've been really avoiding, like doing the dishes or something. But I really try not to put too much pressure on myself about doing those kind of things. Maybe I'll like throw a load of laundry in or something like that.
Yeah.
But it is mostly Thursdays whenever I know I can like spend like 15 minutes doing this thing and then go back to work, just take a little break and like do the dishes or put the laundry away. So usually it's like Sundays and Thursdays, and then if I have time on Saturdays, I'll do it then. But yeah, I don't really have like a cleaning schedule or anything like that, so
Yeah, me neither.
if anyone's looking for that, I don't have it.
I mean, I know some people do. I saw this thing a while ago that was like, when you get home from work, which I could not do this, but it was like an interesting idea. When you get home from work or whatever, set a 20-minute alarm or like 20-minute timer or whatever, and for 20 minutes, just like go around your house and do things that you need to do.
Yeah.
And that was kind of cool. I mean, I feel like before I like shower and go to bed, I have to like, I'll like fill
something.
like I cook, whatever. And I normally already have stuff prepped, so it's not really like cooking, like heating like some stuff up and doing little stuff. But
yeah.
I'll like do the dishwasher and like I like have to get my clothes like set out for the night before I can even relax. Like I have to make
that's
sure
your little routine
I have to
right
make
there.
sure everything
yeah.
is prepared. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've always been like that. I've always had to set my outfit up the night before.
Yeah. And I feel like I would never be able to get into a strict routine of like I'm cleaning this day, this day, because my schedule's always changing. Like,
yeah, like
sometimes I'm doing stuff on Wednesdays and sometimes I'm not doing anything. Like it just depends.
Yeah, and then we always put off prepping our food and I know today Mark and I are supposed to prepare some chicken, steak, and shrimp. I don't know if we're gonna have time because he said he has to leave for hockey like right now apparently.
Well, like at this moment.
First off, why? Like, and I wish he would have cooked it without me. I was gone for hours and hours today. I mean, to be fair, he did have hockey at like 9, but
no excuse.
We were gone for hours today, and he could have maybe cooked by himself, but he doesn't want to cook by himself. So then we put it off for days on end, and yeah. But so I definitely think sometimes I'm like, it's hard because I'm like, oh, I want to go to the gym, I want to work out, but then I'm like, oh, I have laundry to put away. So you have to like decide which one. But
just prioritize your life, which is hard as an adult.
Yeah, I really want to prioritize like working out more though, like exercising more, like but it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, that is hard.
Yeah, well, it's hard because it's like you're like, I want to go to the gym, but I also have to put laundry away. But then I'm like, girl, it takes you like 10 minutes to put the laundry away.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's dramatic. But
I can't do anything else except put the laundry away.
No, literally. Sometimes I really think like that.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah.
I definitely.
But yeah, go clean that area that's been bothering you. I mean, I'm gonna have some time off next week, so I should really consider it.
Amanda.
As I'm looking at stuff. Oh my crap.
I think this room also, like, we only see it whenever we're down here. Like, there's no other time that...
Well, I'm very much out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
So for the basement bathroom, like, I don't really use it.
Exactly.
Every once in a while, I'll, like, do a little tinkle in there. But, like, I don't really use it. I use the upstairs bathroom. It's always been, like, it's weird, but it's always been, like, the men's bathroom. Like, my stepdad used to use it down here. And, like, it's just, like, a little... I mean, it's a nice little bathroom, but it's just a little bathroom.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so, yeah, go do something
do some
that
cleaning.
you're avoiding. Yeah, that you've been avoiding.
And thanks for joining us today. Hope you have a great week. And...
Sorry.
What? Was I wrong?
No, it was just like, I'm like, go do something that you're avoiding. You're like, and thanks for joining us today. Like the way you just said. No, yeah. Well. But yeah, go do something you've been avoiding and go ahead, Lindsay. It was just funny the way, it was just funny because
I'm not understanding.
I feel like I was just so nonchalant and then you were like, and thanks for joining us today. I'm sorry.
For joining us. That's fine.
I'm sorry. It was just funny. Go ahead.
But yeah, thanks for joining us today, and hope you guys have a great couple weeks, and we'll see you on Thursday. Next Thursday. Bye.
Bye.